Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here. So in today's video, we'll be talking about a bunch of different Washington Commanders draft rumors heading into tomorrow. We're about 30 hours away, like less than 30 hours away from the draft starting, like 28-ish when this goes out, less than that. And the Commanders will probably be picking around midnight if they do pick. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, all that good stuff. Let's get right into the video. So let's talk about the biggest rumor first, which is a possible trade back with the Giants, which, for some people might not make a lot of sense, but for the most part, it could happen if the Commanders are down, because the Giants, it looks like, are going to want to trade back into the first round, and the Commanders have not been shy to do that. They traded 2 times last year with the Eagles, one for Jahan Dotson and one time for the the Cooper DeJean trade that they made that allowed the Eagles to take him, and we ended up taking Mike Sanders still. But let's go into this. So the Giants, has been a bunch of rumors about the Giants trying to, they'll take whoever they want at 3, which is, I believe, where they're picking. You got the Titans and Browns and the Giants, and then, the rest of the teams, but they'll probably take Abdul Carter at 3. But then after that, they might try to, trade back into the first and take, Jalen Milroe, or most likely Jackson Dart, who has a lot of connections with the New York Giants, or at least has a few with Joe Shane, and then also with Brian Dable, Joe Judge, who I think is with the team now, if I'm not mistaken. But the Commanders are at 29, so they're a prime spot for someone to trade back into the first and get a QB. So there's been a couple different people that are proposing this guy Slick Rick, which he's not like an official reporter. He's one of those like kind of anonymous guys, but when he does put stuff out, it is pretty reliable. He has broken a bunch of different stories in the past, and he might be New York based, not completely sure, but he says rumors are flying around. Commanders and Giants have been in trade talks. It's not about Washington moving up to 3, but the Giants getting back in the first round to get into position so they can take a QB. And then what's it called? Wait, that's JP Finley mentioned it as well, because Diana Rossini was talking about the Giants trying to trade back trying to get the first pick, but then that's not going to happen. And they're talking about New York and Cleveland, they might have to pivot to take a quarterback, and that might be Jackson Dart or someone else. And JP Finley says best trade scenario for Washington is a late first round run in QBs. 29th pick could be very valuable. And he's quote tweeting the tweet about the Giants. So, hey, not just the random reporter, but JP Finley talking about it as well. So there is some buzz about it. Is it true? We'll see. I would think Adam Peters wouldn't want to trade within division for a first round pick, especially when it's a quarterback situation, unless he doesn't feel good about the quarterback. Maybe he's like, what, I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to be good. I don't think Jackson Dart's going to be good. Or maybe Shedeur Sanders somehow falls to 29. Maybe he's like, I don't think any of those guys are going to be good, and I'll allow the Giants to trade back into the first round with us for a premium, because it will be a premium. And the picks that are available for the Saints, who could trade back in, which is 40, which that wouldn't be bad. You trade back 12 spots, you get, obviously you would get 40. You probably get 71 because you're trading back 12 spots, and then you're getting more than that as well. With the Giants, you're getting 34, and then you're probably getting another pick, probably 99, which you're moving back 8 spots. So you get 99, maybe another pick as well, maybe 99 and a future pick. Just something to think about. These teams' draft capitals throw in the, Browns as well. But, if the Commanders make this move, you just better be sure that those quarterbacks aren't going to be good, that, because you're giving a team a quarterback. You're the one that's allowing them to take a QB. But on the flip side, if you don't think they're good, and the Giants, not only they're going to have to pay 2 premiums. One, for, you're drafting a quarterback, you're trading back into the first. Teams, use that leverage because they know you really want to trade back in. So you get a little bit more of a premium there. And interdivision trade is even more of a premium. So you're going to get not a king's ransom, but you're going to get a good haul, a better haul than you normally would for that pick. And if you think he's not going to be good, then you're setting back the Giants, 4 or 5, or not, maybe not 4 or 5 years, but 2-3 years, if they take a first-round quarterback and he is a bust. So just another thing to think about there. So other rumors. Jeremy Fowler says Treveyon Henderson could go earlier than most people think, and many teams have him high on their running back boards and list the Commanders as a contending team to watch, so watch out for that. Virginia native, no fumbles in college, I believe. Very good runner, good pass protector, can catch the ball in the backfield, can run, very good speed. I think his game speed's higher than his 40 speed, in my opinion, is faster. But wouldn't mind him in the first round. Is it my number one pick? No, but if they take him in the first, or if they trade back from 29 to 33 with the Giants, they take Treveyon Henderson, get some draft picks, I would not mind that at all. I think he's a very good player. Probably my running back 3 in this class. I would go Genty, Hampton, and then Henderson. Hampton could be there too at 29. I don't think so. I would probably list at 35, 40% chance, but it's possible. Another rumor. Not rumor, but Nick Scorton, I would say, I was almost going to make a video a couple of days ago, momentum building for the Commanders to take him, especially if they trade back. I think that is a pick that would make sense for sure. A guy that, is a good edge rusher. Didn't have the best season this past year at Texas A&M. A lot of good people on that D-line, but he had a really good season the year before with Purdue. But they asked him to put on a lot of weight. He wasn't as quick, as explosive. So we'll see where he goes. I would probably say his range is 25 to 35. So the Commanders obviously are in that range. Maybe if they trade back a few spots, they can get him. Or, Femi, the UCLA guy. Any of those guys are options as well. Let's see. And then I made a video about it, but Carson Schlesinger, linebacker out of UCLA. Obviously, you got the ties with Adam Peters, who went there. So, he's got probably good sources there. And, he was the assistant GM in San Francisco for a minute. And then also, I was watching a quick interview when I was doing research for this video, trying to get graphics for this video, or whatever, tweets. And he was talking to Kay Adams on whatever the show is, Up and Adams, I think. And he was saying that he has connections to Washington, or at least one that he mentioned, which was his linebackers coach in UCLA is with the Commanders. So another thing to keep in mind there, I think 29 is very early for him. Even trading back into 34, 35 for me is too early. But if you trade back significantly to maybe 40 with the Saints, then that makes a lot more sense. You take a linebacker there, you use that 71 and take someone else. I don't know. Still wouldn't be the best scenario in my opinion, but it's something to keep in mind. And I wouldn't mind also if with their trade back, if they do a trade back, get some assets for this year, of course, but also get some assets for next year. They don't have a second-round pick, I believe, next year because of the Laramie Tunsil trade. They don't have as many picks. So recoup some assets, not only in this year, but next year as well. Just keep that in mind when a trade happens. I think they will as well. Next year's draft is also supposed to be a lot better than this year. So why not just, take the hit on this year and, get some capital for next year, and also just gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of trades and stuff like that when you have a full arsenal of picks versus having 5 picks. So that's just my take on the whole situation. But that's it on today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff, and peace.